in the previous discussion which we had virtually presented, we spoke about how we are transforming to digital channels, right? How we are pushing our customers to go into digital channels and get cost benefited by driving digital channel usage. We all know that customers coming through voice channels, which is a high cost channel for us. And if the customer comes through digital, it's a low cost. And if customers goes to unassisted, it is zero cost for us. So everyone understands that basic logic of it, right? So looking at our model here, so basically customers go through various search engines. They try to find that TFN number. And once they get that TFN number, they go and they get into our IVR system. And within IVR, we have an authentication option, and almost all companies have this, right? Where customer has to give some sort of serial number or identification number to authenticate themselves. And if they authenticate, good, they will go to their respective destination queue, which means that we are not going to have any kind of a noise in our system, right? Which is basically going to reduce noise, reduce transfers, multiple transfers, and customer will get answered in the first go. The customer will reach the right queue in the first go. Let's say if the customer fails to authenticate, what next? Then the customer is asked to go to our support website, right? In our support website, again, we have different set of steps which customer needs to go through. Basically, customer still needs to authenticate online. We will help the customer to get authenticated first. Then after authenticating, the customer will have various self-serve options. With these self-serve options, customers can get their issues resolved or their queries answered, even without reaching our services team, right? Now, let's say if the customers are still not happy with any of those self-serve options, then we have a digital concierge option, which will help the customer to go to the respective support options. Like, let's say if the customer wants to send us an email and then wait for a response, then customer will go to the respective queue. Or if the customer wants to chat us on through WhatsApp, the customer can still go to that particular option. But even before going to any of these channels, right, that is WhatsApp, Facebook, or sending us an email, or raising a ticket online, or chatting with a live agent, we have a virtual assistant, a live bot in front of all these channels, so that the live bot will try to answer any queries of the customer. And if the queries are answered, good. If the queries are not answered, then very simple, the customer will end up bypassing the bot, go to the next assisted support, right? So this is the model which we have reviewed in the past, which I have shared before as well, as to how our digital transformation is happening. And this is a very self-explanatory here, right? But what does it mean? What's in it for me? What's in it for workforce management is something which we are going to talk here. So I'm sorry for the pop-ups there. I didn't. Okay. So if you look at this particular simple but a powerful Power BI simulator tool here, what's in it for me is, let's say if we notice any kind of a deflections happening, we go ahead and enable some new technology which will help our customers deflect to unassisted or digital channels. Like we were getting about 100 contacts in our voice queue earlier. Now, by just enabling some different steps workflow in our IVR, we would have our customers going to our digital channels, and they could be a kind of 10% or 5% drop in our voice contacts. With this, what is that we are going to expect at the different channels, right? Let's say we might notice some drop in terms of voice contacts, but does that mean, like, let's say if I drop 10 contacts, I need to drop 10 headcount? Not really, right? Because the virtual assistant might try and answer any kind of simple issues that we have, or simple queries. But there could be a few complicated queries which customer still needs to be answered. And those kind of queries will still come into our assisted support, right? So with that being said, this tool, what we have here on the left-hand side, has few key variables, right? When we look at the variables, we normally look at top 5. When we say top 5, we always look at contacts, we look at headcount, we look at productivity, And within productivity, we also have shrinkage here. And then we look at our headcount, which is nothing but our attrition, how much our attritions are trending, right? So we look at the top 5 variables in terms of what is going to impact our capacity and our demand, right? So, for example, let me just give you a quick demo here, right? Let's say here it shows that my unassisted deflection rate is going down by 24%. In case if I slide this to, let's say I'm sliding this to positive 6%, my unassisted rate is increasing, and my digital deflection is also going to increase by 27%. Then you'll see it will clearly show me on an average how much contacts is going to reduce for us, and to that contacts, what is the headcount that I'm going to save on for those contacts without making any changes to our base headcount or to my productivity. Now again, going back one step, I said resolving a simple query might not reduce my workload. The complex issues will still come into my system, right? So in this situation, let's say if I feel that my productivity is expected to go down, for example, let's say if my agents were handling like about 30 contacts per week, now if those agents are going to handle just 25 contacts per week, then I can also simulate saying like, okay, I'm going to reduce my productivity by 21%, and by reducing that, how is my capacity going to look like? Am I going to be over or am I going to be under? This is kind of a very simple tool. Like I said, I have top 5 variables here. With these top 5 variables, we will get to see what is my base plan, what is my modified plan. With that, what is the key numbers that I'm going to focus on. So let's say if I need to go ahead and solve for like about 99 headcount, this is 99 headcount goodness I'm going to get. The other way around, if I have to go ahead and solve for 99 headcount, then how I'm going to solve is something which I'll still be able to go ahead and make the changes in terms of variable and do a simulation and try to understand try to mitigate the situation. If not, if I feel like I need to hire more or I need to move from one business to another business, it's kind of a discussions, dialogues is something which we go ahead and have with the clients and move forward with it. So the goodness that we are going to get with this tool, right? This tool caters to about 450 queues, right? And just imagine pulling the data on an Excel for one queue and then plugging in these variables and then trying to analyze what is the requirement and then going ahead and having a discussion is going to be a lengthier process, right? Instead, if you go ahead and put all this in a tool, which just gives you with like maximum 5 clicks, it's going to tell you how much is the requirement, what is that you need to go ahead and have a dialogue for. So it's going to make your life easier and simple, right? So that is a very simple but a powerful tool which we have in place, a simulator, to track our digital deflections or digital transformation that is happening. So let me rest my case here. I'll pass it on to Naveen. We also have another tool in place. And after that, we'll go ahead and take the questions, anything to do with this tool or another tool. So over to you, Naveen.
Thank you, Karthik. So here I'm going to talk about the agent skilling part. Basically, nowadays, the skilling is happening on Avaya CMS tool for any voice channel. And we know about the complexities that we have. It could be a manual error by the human, and that could lead to inefficiencies. The delayed skilling can cause the service level impact. The multiple system logins may increase our operational workload, and the limited visibility into agent skills can cause our deficit in the planning. The high volume changes in the system also can cause the strain on the system. So here we go with a small video demo.
Contact center operations, yet it is often a tedious and time-consuming process. Understanding these challenges can help streamline operations and highlight areas for improvement. Skilling in Avaya CMS often begins with logging into a complex interface. Navigating through multiple menus to locate agent settings can be confusing and requires detailed knowledge of the system. Assigning or updating agent skills involves selecting from lists with potentially hundreds of options. Each adjustment must be made individually, which increases the risk of errors and adds to the time required.
Verifying skill assignments often requires running detailed reports and cross-checking agent data. This adds another layer of complexity, especially when managing large teams. Any required changes to agent skills often need to be scheduled during off-peak hours to avoid service disruption, putting additional pressure on administrators and extending the time to complete the process.
Let us now see how we at Dell Technologies have improvised on this by automating skilling process using bread tool.
So just before Naveen moves forward, right, how many of you got bored looking at the video? I mean, almost most of it, right? I'll tell you why. The video itself is so boring, just imagine how boring the skilling process is on Avaya, right? So how better it can be, how it has been automated is something Naveen is going to talk about now.
So when we have to introduce the bread tool, the name itself says it is to browse, read, edit, add, and delete. All the features that we can do in CMS, it can be now done in one single tool for all the switches. The complexity in CMS, what we have is, if we have to process different switches, we need to log into different CMS applications. But with this bread tool introduction, we don't have to go through that limitation. We can select the switch and then select the respective agent ID. There are two different kind of a skilling that we can do here. One is a selective skilling where we can go ahead and add the new skill here and then apply. Or maybe we can delete the skill and apply. The second portion is mirroring. Example, I have certain skill sets added to my for ID, and if I want Karthik to be added to the same skill set, I can just use my ID as mirror ID and use Karthik's ID under the box below on the enable mirroring, so that Karthik can also have the same skill set like me. And the best part is, it is not like I have to do it well in advance kind of, or maybe I can do it real time for the queue mitigation. No, we also can do real time. We can also schedule daily, weekly, or maybe a custom dates. Let's say I'm undersold in pockets of a couple of days, Monday and Thursday. Let's take an example. So whenever I am undersold in pockets, I can schedule it well in advance so that I don't have to rely on the human intervention and I don't have to rely on the manual skilling and errors. The tool will process the skilling on time, and it also keeps the agent updated saying you have been assigned with so and so new skills, so that the agent will also be aligned on what is the kind of support he has to extend to the customers. Okay. With that, I'm moving on to the next one, which is the repository of whatever the skillings that we have processed. And there is an additional feature of a remote logout. Let's say an example, employee forgot to log out and he ended his shift. He'll still be showing on my queue as aux. That will increase my aux percentage. So in this scenario, normally the manager or this real-time team take a look at the agent. I think he forgot to log out, and they process the remote logout from the bread tool itself. So these are the features that our real-time team is using. But aside of it, this tool is also be used for the agent ID creation by the telecom team. Considering it's a telecom proprietary, we will not have that kind of a visibility, but this tool has replaced the telecom infrastructure as well, thus enabling the cost savings.
So if I have to summarize, right, let me summarize the top 5 again. 1, we need licenses for Avaya CMS if we have to log in. So each license comes with a cost. So that has been eliminated, right? 2, there's a lot of time involved in terms of logging in, connecting to the Avaya server, and then trying to find the skills, find the agent, and process. So we have cut down on that particular time. 3, in Avaya, we don't have an easier audit mechanism. Whenever we skill someone, it is really difficult for us to go ahead and pull the audit and review those audits in terms of who processed the skilling, what time it was processed, and we would not be able to have that quality check over there. 4, in Avaya, we also don't have a scheduling mechanism. Like, for example, let's say if we want to skill only at certain intervals, only on certain days, or if we have to revert those skillings automatically, we don't have that particular mechanism. 5, in Avaya, we also don't have a upload mechanism. mechanism wherein we can maintain a CSV file, we can just upload it and just run it. So the process which is going to take 15 to 20 minutes per skilling is just going to take about 30 seconds here, right? So reducing 15 minutes of intervention, you can imagine how much it is going to help us reduce in terms of cost, right? I'm not going to quote any number here, but I'm going to quote a time, and time is money. We all know that, right? So any questions, we can move forward with that.
See, Avaya typically when we do skilling, we'll put ID and password and login. What is the integration process? This is a you're putting everything together. It's like the whole skilling data is there. You're checking each and everything. What all things we cannot do on Avaya, you can do it here.
Yes.
How is this system talking to Avaya CMS?
So Avaya CMS is a front-end tool,
Right,
which is been developed by Avaya.
Correct.
This is a CSS tool which is developed within Dell in collaboration with Dell IT and our workforce management tool. Basically, we have given all the inputs in terms of what are the features we need, what are the check mechanism that we need in the tool. Is something which we have given. So
is this a agreed integration between Avaya and Dell?
No, this is nothing to do with Avaya. This is purely developed within Dell, connecting to the backend database.
Backend database.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So we don't even have to do anything with Avaya. It's directly within Dell.
Got it.
How are you changing the skills on the WFM tool, or there's no WFM tool monitoring this now?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
How are you changing the skill at WFM level, or there's no WFM tool integrated to this Avaya?
There is no WFM tool
That's why,
integrated.
because I was just curious. You'll have to do the changes at one. So how are you doing your performance forecast?
Okay, let me give you a small example, right? In terms of skilling is your question. So we have a set of folks who's been assigned to a specific staff group, a predefined one, right? Now, let's say there is a challenge in one particular staff group where their service levels are getting hit badly. And we have another similar group. Let's say I'm handling a EMEA-based customer and you're handling Americas. I want to help you, right? Then I'll go ahead and get myself skilled into your queue. Now, I don't want to help you forever. I will have to go ahead and come back. And within the staff group, we have multiple different product lines, right? Maybe I might be specialized in 4 or 5 products and he might be specialized in few other products, right? So when I get skilled into your queue, I want to get skilled to only those specialized products which I can handle. And when I get reverted back, I want to revert to the same settings what I had before, right? So in Avaya, it's difficult to track those manually, and we will lose track of it.
We have an ecosystem which is still sitting there. So if you had a system, I would need to emulate these skills in WFM for it to even work. Otherwise, it's a waste. The tool is going to be garbage, right?
True.
So you don't have a tool at all in place. You're managing this in a different way, which makes sense.
Yeah. There are a couple of other questions in the back. Do we have time?
Hi, my name is Ruchit.
Hi,
So
Rohit.
my question is around the simulator model that
Sure.
you had. So when it comes to simulation, because when you say 90 people, you can remove from the system. Is this actionable data based on real life calculations, or this is linear calculation?
No, this is real life. Okay, what we are seeing is a global number here.
Okay.
90 looks big, I know that, but it is a global number what we are looking at. We can drill down to a particular queue, particular channel, and then look at it. In reality, it might not be 90. I have just given some number minus 24%
So
and
if I make the
plus
changes in the
12%.
sliders, right?
Yeah,
Is it linear calculation? Is what the question?
it is. Yeah, it's a linear calculation.
You want to cross,
It's 2 different tools. We just had both best practices and we wanted to just bring it on.
the practice or a tool?
Tool and the other simulator is a practice, which is going to help us with
It
the
is a
tool.
tool.
Yeah, hi, Ravi this side.
This is Power BI dashboard for simulation.
This is a tool.
Yes.
That is a practice. That is also a tool.
That is also tool, yeah.
Both are tools. 2 tools.
Yeah, regarding your skilling bot, whatever you have made. So, how this system or the bot getting the inputs? It is pre-filled kind of a Excel.
It's
which you have-
pre-fed with
So
the
still
backend
there you
database.
have people who is actually giving the feed. Similarly, the way we are doing the skilling in Avaya. And how is it workable or implementable on a real time like we?
It has been implemented for last 1.5 years now.
No, what I am trying to say, I am giving you the scenario. On real time, if we see some surge in the queue, let's say we need to move 25 people to that queue. I got an email from the operations, or being a RTA, I took the decision that I need to move 25 people to the skill X. So does this tool have that capability?
It does.
Yes.
Yes, it's a real time. You can process it immediately, or you can also schedule a scale.
If I'm getting
see a
an email,
checkbox here.
communicate.
You can see a checkbox here which says ASAP. The moment I click on one time and check this box, that processes the skilling very quick. In Avaya CMS, to log in itself, it will take some time, but this one, once we log in, it can support any of the skill that we have in the environment.
Okay, it also does have the capability to communicate with Outlook.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.